A second on this, because you could make the argument that the Seahawk run, I don't want to make Michael Bennett out to be the key to the team. Wilson is. And they still got Sherman sitting there, and they're going to get those defensive backs back, and Thomas and Cam Chancellor and everything else. But the bottom line is that the Seahawks right now, a team that did not make the playoffs this particular past season, a team that the year before, they got run over in Atlanta. The team the year another year. Who they played the year before? They played Atlanta 2 years in a row, didn't they? The year that they beat Minnesota on that missed kick by Walsh. They lost. Oh, they lost the next week to Carolina. That's who it was. So they beat Minnesota on the missed kick. Then they lost to Carolina. Then last year they got run over by the Falcons after they beat the Lions at home, if you remember correctly. But the run of the Seahawks, it might be coming to a close. I mean, they got a lot of guys coming off major injury. Graham's out. Not that he was part of the Super Bowl teams anyway, but Graham is out of there. Marshawn's been gone for 3 or 4 years. Lynch. They have Wilson, and that team that they won with him, he really wasn't the focal point of the team anyway. He was a little more involved the next year when they lost to the Patriots, but that's a team that probably should have won another championship. I mean, not probably should have. I mean, they should have never lost to New England. They had a lead in the fourth quarter. They had a lead. Patriots scored 2 touchdowns, and then right down there at the end off that miracle catch by Kurtz, and they somehow, the dumbest call of all time, which is going to keep Pete Carroll out of the Hall of Fame. That call, unless he came back and won another Super Bowl and got the 2, and that would make 3 Super Bowl appearances, he's out. He is not going to make the Super Bowl and make the Hall of Fame because of that one call. That's going to be his eulogy, the Russell Wilson throw. It's hard to believe that Carroll, who dominated Peyton Manning, and did a heck of a job there. Made the playoffs many a year, but it's going to come down to the call. The Seahawks, you get the idea with the team beginning to break apart, that the Seahawks are one of those franchises, and there are all franchises like this. The 88, 89, 90 A's. The Orioles of the late 60s. There are teams like this that Favre with Green Bay, Rodgers maybe with Green Bay. There are teams like this that don't do quite enough for the talent that they have at their disposal. And Seattle with an excellent defense, a couple of Hall of Famers in that defensive secondary. They might have a Hall of Famer on the defensive line. They might have Wagner there as a linebacker. Obviously, they got Graham. They got Lynch. They have a big-time quarterback. I mean, they got a lot of things. They had a couple of offensive linemen. They got an Hutchinson was there. Walter Jones, that was before they won. He was there. I mean, this team probably is going to lament the idea that they only got the one title, because they probably should have won more than that. And I don't think they're about ready to win anymore right now in this division, which is a good division because San Francisco is young with a quarterback. The Rams are going to get nothing but better. So this division is a tricky division right now for the Niners, for the Seahawks. Niners and Rams right on top of them. Arizona's still competitive. So from that standpoint, they probably, let a title slip away. Now, I don't know what the reasoning was for this trade. They're going to claim that they got a receiver in case the kid leaves. What's his name? Paul Robinson. In case that one receiver leaves. I may not. What's his last name? There's Richardson. Not Robinson. Richardson leaves, who's got ability. So maybe that is and they're going to claim they wanted some security there. But Bennett's still a very good player. I don't know. Maybe Allen got sick of Bennett. I don't know about that. He is a distraction. The Vegas thing and claiming that he was, the police mishandled him, which he let go because he knows he looked like it's a horse's ass. Bennett's a guy that is tough to root for, and I don't know. That's a pretty liberal city. I don't know why they would get rid of him, but Philadelphia, it's a move that a team like the Eagles can do because they can do no wrong right now with their fan base. They didn't give up. They gave up a second-round pick and a fifth-round and a receiver to get Bennett, who's a very good defensive lineman. I mean, that's an excellent move by the Eagles. It's worth taking a chance on him. We'll see what Bennett's mood is moving to the East Coast. That city will be forgiving of anybody right now. They want to have a little dynasty going. They got an opportunity to. But it does appear to me that Seattle is a franchise that might be looking to go in a different direction. Now, obviously, the coach is still there. The GM is still there. The quarterback is young once he realizes he can't hit Major League pitching. So we will, and he wants to be a football player. We'll see what occurs here as far as the Seahawks are concerned. But you can't argue with the Eagles. What they give up exactly? They gave up a mid-round pick and a receiver. Is that what they did to get Bennett? It's a good trade. I guess I can look it up specifically what they did. Asking Eddie, who's still basking in the glory of John Beeline. That is a scenario where you cannot argue that from a Seahawks standpoint. From a Eagles standpoint, that's a very, very good move for Seattle. Let's see. Let me make sure. Are they giving a 7th-round pick? No, they're getting a 5th-round pick and Marcus Johnson. I mean, my goodness gracious, that's a steal for Seattle. So good move it's a steal for the Eagles. Good move by Philadelphia today in this move. Now, I'm not a Bennett fan. He's hard for me to root for, but that's a good move all the way around as far as the Eagles are concerned. Alfred and White Plains, we shortchanged them the last day or so, kept them on hold a long time, and how dare us with the great Al, not giving him plenty of opportunity to say hello. Alfred, welcome. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Chrissy, Paul Robinson, the first 1,000-yard rusher in Bengal history, if memory serves me.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the old Paul Robinson. Maybe I was thinking about Paul Robertson at the time I talked about Richardson. Yeah, he was a good player. Not for long, but he was a good little running back for that team. No question about it.
Number 18, I believe.
Didn't he go to LSU?
No, I don't believe so. That's a great spot with, I believe, probably your old partner's favorite coach going.
Oh, he loves Beeline, Mike.
He loves
I loved him.
He loves Beeline. Great coach. I guess you got to win one, but he did get to the finals and lost to Patino that year when they beat my Syracuse team and Coach B in the Final Four. They got a really good team. They are deep. That Wagner kid didn't go into the draft, which is a smart move. He's turned into a really good player. They're going to be tough to beat. He's a terrific coach. I agree with him. We can never forgive Dan Kinger. Let me give you a little local flair. Are you ready?
I am.
You're looking for a team to root for, and you mentioned College of Charleston. This is a little, and then I'm going to give you some quick movies. This is a little 4 degrees of separation. Your closest friend, or one of them, is your program director, is he not?
Mr. Torrey, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Who's up there at Bedford Corners, correct?
He lives up on Tall Pines, in Bedford.
That's right.
Or Mount Kisco.
All these kids go to school where?
They go at Fox Lane High School.
That's right. Well, a very good friend of mine who I used to share space with in the same law office, his son is a Fox Lane grad. His name is Ben Corin. He probably went to school with Steve's daughter. He was the video coordinator, and you will now see him on the bench because I believe he's the assistant director of player operations at College of Charleston.
No kidding. I think I did know that.
Eddie, get him on as a guest.
I think I did know that. I think I was aware that there was a Fox Lane kid at that school, and I think I've heard Steve mention that. So that's a good one. All right, that's a little tidbit. Go ahead. Next, let me hear.
He's a great kid, and they're a fun team to watch. They can score, boy. They can really score. And that was a hell of a comeback the other night. My alma mater, by the way, believe it or not, is one of those select few, along with certainly Michigan, Ohio State.
They won a football championship way back in the 50s.
They won under Schwartzwalder with Ernie Davis
in '63 or '62.
No, the year he won the Heisman in I believe it was '61.
61. It was right around that period. Okay, they did not win with Jim Brown. They won bowl games with Jim Brown, but they did not win the title. Okay,
they lost Jim Brown's last game in the Cotton Bowl, 28-27. Jim Brown was also the place kicker. They lost when Jim Brown's extra point was blocked. And if you ever listen to Kurt Gowdy, when Jim Brown walked off the field that day, Kurt Gowdy said, and I'm paraphrasing, "That's the best game I've ever seen any football player play."
Oh, really? That was in 50. That must have been in 56, right?
That was 56. And the late, great Dick Schaap, if you saw him in interviews, said that after Jim Brown finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting his senior year, behind Paul Horning, and I forget who else, all of whom were white, that was the last year Dick Schaap voted for the Heisman Trophy.
Well, wow, fascinating. I did not know that. Now, Brown should have won the Heisman. No, Horning was a great, great player. They
were 3-7, I think.
Yeah, they had a bad year. You're right. I don't know what hopefully it wasn't black-white. You're telling me it was. All right. So Syracuse has won championships in both. Ohio State won in the early 60s, and they obviously have won with titles in football. That's 2. Florida with Billy Donovan and, of course, Meyer. They have won championships. That's 3.
And, of course, Michigan.
That's 4. And who's the other one?
I'm trying to figure out if there's another one in terms of going out west, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Let me give you a few quick films. You hit on a bunch of them yesterday. But here's a couple that I absolutely love with super-duper stars, great all-time actors. I'm a huge Newman fan. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting, Newman and Redford together, unbelievable. Obviously, both Godfathers. And I'm going to give you 2 more with...
The one I forgot yesterday that I should have mentioned was Rocky, which is a great movie.
Great movie. Let me give you 2 films which I know you had to love because they were tremendous films, and they're from our time frame. They had unbelievable actors. One, and I gave it to the 18-year-old this morning. Of course, he didn't know what I was talking about. In the Heat of the Night with Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger.
Yeah, good movie, 1968.
Good movie. Great movie.
Yep.
And along those same lines with Sidney Poitier and obviously an all-time legend, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Is a great film.
Yeah, it's a good one. And that won the movie of the year in that won 68. I don't know what the other one with Rod Steiger, I don't know what year that was in the Heat of the Night, but that was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is a wonderful movie. If you don't know what it's about a liberal San Francisco newspaper publisher who is Spencer Tracy, living in San Francisco, married to Katharine Hepburn. Think about that cast for a minute. Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, and Sidney Poitier. I mean, not bad. And his daughter comes home with a boyfriend, and that boyfriend is Sidney Poitier. Black, white, everything else, interracial, and Poitier's, and they have a big family, they have a big dinner, and Poitier's father, who is a mailman, and mother, they don't want, especially the father, they don't want Sidney marrying a white girl, and Spencer Tracy, who is the great liberal, Mike was his name in the movie, who is supposedly a great liberal, doesn't want his daughter marrying a black guy. So it's a very, very, very good film. One thing about that film that's interesting, Tracy Hepburn, I think she won the Oscar for that. Movie won. I don't think Tracy won, but he died 3 weeks later. He did the final scene in that movie where he's around a dinner table and he does this great speech about how he's going to bless this wedding now. And if I'm not mistaken, he died. I'm pretty sure he died 3 weeks later, 68. Great movie. Good job by Al. One of the greats. Here is Bill, and he's in Maryland, and he's aboard on Mad Dog Unleashed. Billy, good afternoon. How are you today?
How you doing there, Mad Dog?
Hello, William. Nice to talk to you. What's on your mind? What do you have for me?
I'm researching it, but I think Maryland won with Jim Tatum back in the 50s. In 1951.
In college football.
One or the other.
And then they won the NCAA, and they won the title in NCAA with Gary Williams. Correct.
Yeah, Gary Williams. And not only that, Maryland won the women's national championship in basketball, the men's in soccer, the women's in soccer, and the men's and women's in lacrosse. So they got quite a few national championships.
I would give Maryland a little credit there. They might be that 5th one. Tied now, NC State and BC. 4 minutes left, 75-75. The kind of game that makes you a little nervous. BC just comes back and puts the scores the basket. Up 2 at the 4-minute mark late in this game here at the Barclays Center. We'll keep an eye on it. Here's Brett in Calgary, up in Alberta. Hello, Brett. How are you today, pal? What's on your mind?
Good. I was just phoning about Maryland as well, because I'm pretty sure they won 51 or 52 in football, and I know they won the NCAA tournament, I think, what is that, 2002?
Yeah, Gary Williams. They could have won 2. They lost to Duke one year in the Final Four and came back the next year and beat UConn in the championship game. So, that is
Maryland's the 5th one.
Maryland is the 5th one, so it's Maryland, Syracuse, Ohio State, Florida, and Michigan. Those are the 5, and Ohio State. So Ohio State, Michigan, Florida, Maryland, and Syracuse. 17 after the hour. Timeout. BC's up 2. Late. We'll continue. Mad Dog.